All right, Petros, we're live. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. I saw that you recently acquired, or excuse me, you had a company acquired on MicroAcquire for 5 figures, and um, thanks for joining. Would love to kick this off with learning more about you. You want to give a quick intro to start?
Yeah, hey Andrew, thanks for having me. Yeah, where to start? I'm a web developer by trade, and I try to, my goal is to have financial freedom, and in my, free time, I'm trying to spin up some side projects that might give me some income. And yeah, one of them is Bookis, which I recently sold thanks to your platform. Yeah,
You
the
you
main
got you got micro acquired, man.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah. That's it was like a Hail Mary for me because I was planning to, stop the service as I was bleeding money. But yeah, I said, why not? Let's try my micro acquire, and it got sold, and I was really excited about that. I wasn't really expecting it, but
You got
it's
acquired. You got acquired, man. You gotta wear that like a badge of honor.
yeah, I know. It's an achievement. For sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited for you, and I guess other questions I would have is and really this is to help other entrepreneurs looking to sell their businesses. But tell me about your experience on MicroAcquire. How'd it go? How did you find the buyer? What did the sale just walk me through kind of like you found the buyer.
Yeah.
What did Petros do? How did you close this acquisition?
hmm Funny thing is, I emailed you because I was, on MicroAcquire, for people that don't know, you post your startup, you start getting messages, and they might seem a bit random, but these people are just asking for access to private information. And at first, it was a bit weird for me, and I emailed you, and I was like, yeah, how do I start a conversation if they start, you know, telling something just to get the info? How do I keep it going? You told me something like, if you're interested, let's talk, let's schedule a call. And yeah, one of these buyers actually wanted to have a call and discussion. And they said that they're interested and that they wanted to check out the quality of the code before buying. And yeah, we scheduled a call. I talked with the engineers. I showed some of the code. And after that, if they were happy, as part of the discussion was that they would send a letter of intent. Yeah, and they sent that. I signed. Then I um, I said on the micro acquire that there's a button basically that says that you are negotiating with this buyer, so you're not accepting any other offers and messages. And from there, yeah, it was pretty easy. We didn't even have to do a terms of sale document. All they wanted was the domain and the source code. The buyer created an account in escrow. I got an invitation to check the transaction, and there's a bunch of steps involved in escrow to check both sides. Firstly, that the money's there. From there, you provide the resources, in this case, domain and source code. Buyer accepts, escrow checks that the domain was transferred, and it releases the money. I have to say that it was a pretty pleasant and pretty fast transaction. It only took 10 days or so, which
Wow.
is pretty sick. Yeah. And yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, nice move on pushing for conversations with buyers. I always recommend that. Like if because it's key because if you meet a buyer and they're just asking questions but not willing to hop on a call, they're probably not serious. So that's one of the easiest way to weed out non-serious buyers from serious buyers by just saying, "Hey, I appreciate your questions. Let's discuss on a call," because that way you can get to know the buyer. You know, you can feel them out. You can, you know, really build that relationship. And I think
Right.
that's also important for the buyer too, for, you know, acquiring your company. Like, who
Yeah.
are you? Do we get along together? Post transaction, like, will you help me out? And so nice job on that.
Yeah.
You know, now that you've had a company acquired, with other entrepreneurs listening, what would be some of the main like advice or learnings, or maybe like some surprising things that you know maybe went through getting micro acquired?
Yeah. In general, being in a startup means that you are wearing a lot of hats, and you're doing a lot of things. You have to keep learning.
Tons of hats. Every hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm even wearing a hat, literally.
Yeah, that's a
Not.
type of hat. Yeah.
Sorry, go
Um,
on.
yeah, you need to be a jack of all trades at first, before you have, your own stuff, before you hire anyone. And yeah, it's pretty complex. You have to make decisions all day. But at the end of the day, you have to move forward and don't do what I did, which how it became to that I sold Bookis, is that I let the startup roast for 3 years. Basically, I have not that much selling experience. I'm more of a technical kind of guy. And basically, I had it as a side project all the time. And, I had it in the back of my head, but I wasn't really pushing it. And when, as time passes, it was going in a corner of my mind, and wasn't really paying that much attention and giving that much effort. So the point is, if you're going to start something, you have to keep pushing every day, and don't let it be something in the back of your mind, because at the end of the day, it will not, be successful like that. Yeah. So one of the things I want to tell people is that you have to either learn to sell your startup, or you have to pay someone to do that for you. But yeah, after 3 years almost, yeah, it was time to close it, and that's how I came to micro acquire to sell it. And in good fortune, it was 5 figures, but yeah, it doesn't really happen to everyone like that.
Well, huge congrats on again on the acquisition and all your success. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do next, man. Hopefully you come back to microacquire with Trace Comas.
Maybe in a few years' time. Yeah, for now I have something in the works, but it's not really yet ready for showing it off or anything. But yeah, if anyone wants to follow along on my journey, you can follow me on Twitter, and yeah, probably you will leave something in the notes for that.
I'll have your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and then all information to contact you.
Yeah, that would be great.
I guess I always like asking these questions at the end just for fun. I didn't tell you I was going to ask these questions, but I just decided randomly, why not? Who's your favorite entrepreneur?
Okay.
You can't say Elon Musk.
I can't or can?
You cannot. Everyone always says Elon Musk, and he's probably mine.
It's
But
my first choice. Yeah.
yeah, it's everyone's first choice. So I like to try to get like
Yeah.
if you had to think of anyone but Elon, who would it be? And you can't say microacquire.
That's my second choice. Yeah.
I'm just kidding, man.
Actually, I have a few friends, but they're not that big. If we're talking big entrepreneurs, then it's
No, it doesn't have to be big. Some of my favorite entrepreneurs, the ones that are just grinding it out, like the ones that are basically pushing through like the hardest times, like those are the entrepreneurs I respect the most. So if you want to give a shout out to a buddy, feel free.
It's a shout out to Steph then. Now it's his second startup. The first one didn't go that well, but he's grinding, and he also got some investment. It's called skillfield.ai. They're trying to, don't remember exactly what they do, but yeah, they're trying to basically help HR to hire the best fit for the companies. Yeah, so shout out to them, Steph. So
That's
that would be my
awesome.
choice. Yeah.
See, I really appreciate you sharing that, because sometimes entrepreneurs, like, they give it one shot and they give up, but you learn from failure, you learn from success, but you actually learn more from failure. It hurts, but you come back stronger, and all the mistakes you've made in the past, you probably won't make them again. So that was awesome.
Yeah, to be an entrepreneur, you have to love the process, right? It's not only about success, which might be a bit of an end goal to, get for me, the financial freedom, but you learn a ton through failures, as you said. And that's where the gold mine for me is. And keep pushing it, I keep learning. I've been doing it for a while, but only the recent years I started doing it seriously.
Yeah, I always say, try and get to a place where you enjoy working on your startup as much as your favorite video game.
That's a nice analogy.
Because when you love it, if someone else loves it more, like, they're gonna beat you. But also, and it's not about winning either, but if you're just having fun all the time, like, you're winning. So right on, Petros. I really appreciate your time and you coming on here. And if I can ever do anything in the future to support you, feel free to reach out.
Sure. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk out. Yeah. And your platform, of course.
My pleasure. And congrats again. Hey, you're in the acquisition club, man. Cheers.
Thank you. All right.
All right. See you, Petros.
See you. Bye-bye.